Today we're looking at the 2024 New South Wales State Cup Men's Open Grand Final.
Oh, how about that? It's even better.
Come at the man, come at the hour.
That is sensational.
Okay, State Cup 2024 Men's Open Grand Final. We have Newcastle versus Doyalson. Newcastle with the ball now. So we're coming into the first try of the game, 6 minutes in. This is such a great try. Let's just unpack this. Now, this is something that I haven't covered on the channel or anything like that. The closest I've got to is probably a video called Tunnels. But let's have a look at this because it's a really, really clever little play. Now, these guys have versed each other. They didn't verse each other in the tournament. They were in different pools. So I think the last time they played against each other was a couple of months ago at a regional tournament. But we're setting up for a sweeper. So we have middle here. Here's your links, and we have this link sweeping around. All right, so this middle here, his job's to dump it on his opposing middle and split in, basically running out of the way of the sweeper. That's the easiest way to talk about that, which is what happens. And now here, right here is your standard sweeper. This guy's sweeping. He's going to attack that offside player and either try and take him on the short side or step back open side for a 4-on-3. And that's why it's really important to split when you're dumping the ball back this way, because you then have to run into that link wing hole with the dummy half having the next hole over. But what they do here, I'll just go forward a frame if I can. Oh, that's good. What they do here is they may have done some homework. And if you ever do your homework on a team, like I very rarely do it, but if you see someone that likes to snipe a sweeper on the short side, which is this link out here, he's off screen at the moment, but if it's a player that notoriously comes and just knocks that sweeper off, you can basically just bypass the sweeper, which is what they do here, and he throws it actually across the face to the next link over. So this is the link sweeping, and he actually gives it kind of like a little out ball to the next link over. So when you come in and sniped, the ball actually goes across, and you actually can't find yourself with a 2-on-1 on the outside, which if we have a look at this in slow motion, there's the snipe. He stepped up to snipe, ball's gone across, and we finish it off as it is. And the winger just couldn't quite get a read. But here's it in slow motion, just the full try. Looks like a sweeper, across the face. Ends up like being kind of like an out ball. But I don't know the name for this one. Sometimes you would see the sweeper run in front and it would be like a tunnel ball in behind. But this one was across the face. Like, to be honest, that's probably a harder pass to do. So the fact that it was a perfect spiral and they executed that, that was the first time they tried that, as far as I know, in the game. And it was very good. Now, look at this. It's only a minute later. And Doyalson hit again. Bit more of it's not a flashy play, this one. It's just a middle. All right, so if you're wondering whether to go down for your link or your middle, check out my video about that. It's 33 versus 32 scoop. So this one is a 33. And the thing about 33 is if you were planning on running, I would do this one. If you're planning on throwing, I'd probably go down for your link. But here, the first thing I would notice is you got 3 up in the touch. Now, if Doyalson are coming at speed, which as Doyalson normally do, that's a thing, having 3 up in the touch is probably not a good thing because that's just 3 people that's offside when only one needs to be in a perfect world. So we have the middle. Now, it's good shape by the 20 here. He's pulling his corner. But watch what the dummy half does. Watch what Dylan does. You can see he picks up and he goes straight. He's threatening to go into this gap here, activating the back middle to shut down. All right, and Newcastle's policy there is, okay, if you want to take on the open side, I'm going to turn my hips and relieve pressure and release that back middle, and I'll try and make the touch. But in doing so, dummy half spotted that. Oh, he actually didn't turn his hips, but he's run straight, and you can look right now he's kicking out. All right, if he just gets the ball and runs at a diagonal, very easy to chase down. But he runs forward and he kicks away and he just creates that little bit of space. All right, it's not much, but that's enough space to not be able to be touched. So if number 20 here dives, he'll miss. If he reaches, he'll miss. And as long as you can match the speed, you will get a little bit of time to run into the in goal and just basically find a player that's in a tiny little bit of space. In that case, it's the winger. So there's the second try. But that angle change is the most important thing to take out of that when you're doing a run. I always try to tell people to do an angle change in every form of run, whether it's rucking, latching on like it is now, run one way and kick a certain way. This is another little, he's very fast. It's another little play that you don't sort of see much about, and it kind of like looks like a fly. So he's latched on, but everyone else comes on the inside. So he's latched really wide. And I think this could be the middle here that he's got it on, but it's the far middle. So everyone's kind of then tucked on the inside. So that's a link going down for a middle. What's happened here is they just feed it back to the other middle, make it look like they want to go down for a middle. So he's going to just gun it into that offside middle, make it look like they're going down for a middle with this guy at dummy half, but they just bounce out a little bit. So as they come into the touch, they just change this. So they're running a parallel and then they both just change their angle slightly. And you can see he's just propped, the defender's just propped, and now he's got to bounce himself out to chase with the attackers already running at pretty full speed. And it's very hard to do. And you can see that the link here is sort of just not so much ball watching, because it is something that you do there when they come in to make a dump. But you do actually kind of get sucked in a little bit. So when they bounce out like this, early ball to Mr. Fast Runner here, he's pretty confident that actually he'll be able to get through, and he does. So if we just continue the rest of it, it's just a foot race. Simple as that. So it's just a little bounce play. So 3-0 in very short succession, and Newcastle hit back here. So they set for a sweeper. I'll go back a little bit. Set for a sweeper. It's just a standard sweeper. Doyalson do a defense where they actually get both those middles up, with one of them, when he starts leaning into the touch, the other one gets back really quickly. So yeah, it looks bad shape at the moment, but there's a lot of practice put into that, and you can see one of them probably could drop back faster, but you know what I mean. But there's a sweeper, middle. He splits into that hole. Sweeper comes around and attacks this offside player here. But what happens is, because they've probably got two players offside, or they might think that this middle here is getting too tight, the dummy half is going to dummy to the sweeper and just take off this way. Now you might think that, hang on, that the player in front of him's onside, or relatively onside, why would he do that? But you can look at the momentum. He's trying to cover the gap between himself and the sweeper. So his momentum is going the wrong way. So you can actually have some success. I'm not even cutting that out. I'm going to leave that in there. You can have some success actually just taken off to the blind. And you can see here the link flies in. So it's just eyes up. Most people will just do man on there. And you can see he's probably yelling out man on because he's read that particularly well. But a lot of times getting flat-footed, and it's very hard to turn around and chase that, you will get through from dummy half. So he didn't need to hit there. And it's just a simple one pass out. Try. I'm not going to say success anymore. Try to avoid saying that now. So Newcastle now hit back with a couple of tries, and the game really gets interesting. Another sweeper. So this time again, they give to the sweeper. So I won't talk about the setup now. We've done that a couple of times, but we give to the sweeper, attacking this player here. And he really digs into the line and kicks ever so slightly out this way. And it makes this defender here second guess what he's going to do. Like that is so important. He straightens himself up and then he just kicks out off the right foot, engages that link defender here, and it's just an eyes up. And speaking of eyes, he doesn't actually look at who he's passing to. He's always got his eyes on the people in front of him. And it's amazing what you can fool someone with just what you're looking at. All right, that's why when you throw a dummy or something like that, a lot of people will throw a dummy and they'll keep looking at the people in front of them. That's not going to fool anyone. People will react to what your eyes are doing. So in this case, they see his eyes probably eyeballing the line, so they just flood in thinking that he's not going to pass, and it's just a little flick of the wrist, pass, and a nice sleight of hand there to get a try. And if you've watched this game on KO, if you haven't watched this game on KO, watch this particular part just for the commentary from James Preston. It is hilarious. And I'm not going to spoil it on this channel. But yeah, go and have a look at it. KO freebies. So it's 3-2. Now we have a sweeper again. This is just sequencing off a sweeper now. Now we've got the actual sweeper. So the first one we took off this way from dummy half. The second one we swept, kicked out, and then gave a short pass to the link. However, this time we sweep, we go back in and dive. Catching this player offside, this link can't get the touch. He just can't reach because he stepped back in and there's just too much of a little gap. I know it's not much of a gap, but in Premier League Men's Open, that is too much of a gap. And as he dives in the gap, the ball just gets down first. And that's just a bit of sequencing there with different styles of sweepers. This is where Newcastle hit the lead for the first time in the game. They actually score 4 unanswered tries. And you'll never guess. Well, it's not actually a sweeper, this one. It's kind of like a reverse quickie. But he gives it... Hang on, I'll try to get to a spot. All right. So we have a middle. All right, and he splits infield. But this time he gets the ball back straight away. I know it is a short side quickie. All right, so they've probably gone... And this is an important one to point out. They've probably wanted a middle play with this player out of dummy half. But as you can see, he's dumped on his middle in front of him, which is great. But he stepped this way. He stepped towards the short side. Now, if I pick up the ball from dummy half now, I know here both middles are up for Doyalson. But if the other middle here, if he's back on side and you've split to the short side, now your dummy half's just running straight into the back middle and they just man on. So that is why when he picks up, he's gone, you've split the wrong way. I'm going to give you the ball. So now you can still... Well, as a team, we're still attacking that offside player. So it's a nice little adjustment from the dummy half. It's a very selfless play. A lot of people like scooping from dummy half. It's something they really look forward to. They may not get a lot of opportunities, but it's what the team needs here. And the team, because of a little error from the dump, an adjustment from the dummy half has completely fixed that. So he's still attacking now the offside player, and he's pulled a corner. We step back in, and now that's where the hole opens up. This player's shut down. He's going to stop the dive here, but the link out here, probably just daydreaming for like even a second or half a second, which is just a tad too long in this division. But it was just pointing out that that's a nice little adjustment from the dummy half, just to notice that the dumper had split the wrong way and not panicking, not pulling the play up and being like, why'd you split the wrong way or split the right way? Just, give him the ball. He's got this. Move on. Try. And he gets the try himself. And now Newcastle are up. Doyalson hit back with just under 5 to go. This is something I want to talk about as well. It's something that, as a coach, this bothers me a little bit. Well, let's go back. Okay, now there's the touch. We've got the touch here, and they're just going to run from dummy half. But let's point out just what the defender does here. Now he runs back. Now I got no doubt that he has run 7 meters. No doubt at all. And this player probably believes that he has run 7 meters, and I agree. However, unless you have physically been called onside by the referee, I don't think you should be making a touch like that and then stopping and saying, look, I've made the touch. All right, make the touch there while still running with the player so you can continuously be ready to make another touch. But by you stopping and letting the dummy half run, like that's just way too hard to recover from that. So as far as the attack goes, it's just a middle run. Whilst I agree that he's onside, unless you've been called onside by the referee, just run, just keep running. It's because sometimes referees, like especially, let's look back. I got a sore throat because I've literally just got home from State Cup. I've got home from this tournament, filming this on the Sunday night. Like whilst this may be 7 meters to us, there is no lines in this part of the field for reference to the referee. Like when you're in the 7, there's a clear line that shows 7 meters. Here, that's a line. Yes, that's a line showing 10 meters from halfway. And the next point of reference the referees have got is the 7 meters, which is behind them. So there can be very inconsistent 7 meters in this area just because of the lack of reference that they have. They're literally just eyeballing green grass. Or in Saturday afternoon at State Cup's case, it's brown grass because it's mud after the storm. So yeah, always just keep running. Just keep running here. Run with the play, and then you get him, and you're onside. Worst case scenario, give away a penalty for some reason. But that makes it level. And this is the way the game ends. This is the last set of the game. They're all talking about drop-offs, and me personally, I was like, this is going to be excellent. We're going to go to a drop-off. They try a little trick play. Actually, let's talk about the trick play. It's not a trick play. We've had a lot of success on a sweepers, and if you look at this here, we've got middle, and it looks like this link is coming around. 100%. That's what it looks like. But what they do, you can see, looks like he's coming around, and then they both angle back this way. Hoping that this player here was overcompensating for a sweep and too tight, thus allowing the dummy half to just take on that gap. Which doesn't happen. They weren't actually as tight in defense as they thought they were. So let's roll on from here. He tries to take off, realizes it's not there, and that was when the hooter went. And that happened. So we don't have sound on this video, but the hooter genuinely went when they all sort of stopped. Probably here. This is when the hooter went. Now, in touch football, yeah, the hooter's gone, but play still goes until there's a touch, a drop, or you've run out. So neither of those have happened, and everyone just sort of relaxed. And what does the player do? He spots a gap, and you've got no reason not to try it. The game's over regardless of how you get touched. So have a crack at the line. That's what he does. And the rest is history. And look, I would have loved to see, like, it didn't bother me who won. I would have loved to see the drop-off. It is a shame that it does end like that, but look, that's part of touch footy. Those moments are just as important as any other moment on the game. And yeah, Doyalson capitalised. So congratulations to Doyalson Dragons for the 3rd time, state champions. And it was good to see Newcastle in a grand final as well. I can't remember the last time I saw Newcastle make the big stage in the men's open, but they just previously won the women's open. And the commentator actually asked when the last time we had a double, like a win, like a gold medal, same club for women's and men's. And I've never seen that. The last I can remember was, I think 2012, Wollongong made both grand finals, but only the men's won. So that was the last time I saw the same club that I can remember in the 2 grand finals. But yeah, Doyalson won. And that is it on the analysis. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, become a member, do all that sort of stuff. when I edit videos now, I'm going to be going live just for the members only. So you can chat to me while I'm editing some stuff. So yeah, really appreciate it, guys, and we'll see you on the next analysis or breakdown or whatever. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm buggered after the weekend. I'm filming this on Sunday night. See you everyone.